Have you ever had the urge to just stop scrolling on your phone and learn something pointless but looks awesome?
Well, today is that day.
We have seen these cool balisong tricks on YouTube time and time again. And since we are on this journey to learn as much as we can, we had to add this to our list. So that meant one thing. Two brothers will try to learn butterfly knife tricks. But we had to buy some first. After some digging around for these butterfly knives, we found that we couldn't get them here. So we got the next best thing.
They're practice butterfly knives, which honestly is for the best. Imagine commanding two idiots with knives. We'll end up visiting the ER.
We'll practice day in and day out until we become good enough to become balisong ninjas.
Well, more like ninjas off of wish.com, but you know, that's close enough.
We have carefully selected a handful of tricks which will put us well on our way to becoming pros.
We basically chose the easiest tricks in the book, but trust us, we will make them look way harder than they should be. We both have selected a set of different tricks, which we have to master by the end of the week, with only one exception being the rollout, which is a fundamental trick that we both must learn.
Now that we have our balisongs and our plan is laid out, let's put our ninja skills to the test.
Wait a minute, we can't start flipping these things around yet. We have no clue how they work. What if we just learn the beginner tricks first before we get too far?
Fine if we have to.
So as it was time to finally put what we learned into action, we felt pretty confident. I mean, how hard could it be, right? Just flip it around and look cool.
But the second I tried it, I realized this wasn't going to be as smooth as the pros made it look.
Yeah, turns out the double rollout is more of a double disaster when you have zero experience. All I know right now is that this is going to take a lot more practice. Every time we flipped the knife, it was like we were unlocking a new level of frustration.
We weren't giving up that easily. We kept at it, determined to conquer the double rollout.
And then, after what felt like a million tries,
It finally clicked. Now that the double rollout is out of the way, we can get to the good stuff and learn the cool looking tricks.
My first actual trick is a rollover, which goes something like this.
Start in a pinch position, handle out, holding the bite handle, then I need to flick my wrist down, letting the safe handle go around my thumb. Then I catch the safe handle as it comes around, flicking the balisong back up, and boom, the trick is done. Sounds easy, but surprisingly, getting in one smooth motion will be a lot harder than it seems. Trying this trick for the first time, I was surprised how often I was dropping the knife. It felt like the balisong was on the floor for more time than it was in my hands.
I have to take on the full twirl. It sounds more like a dance move. Instead, it goes something like this. Starting in a standard open position, holding the safe handle, I'll be placing the spine of the blade on my index finger. Then I will place my middle finger behind the safe handle, rolling the balisong backwards. Then letting go of my pointer finger, placing the safe handle between my middle and my ring finger. So honestly, after seeing what I have to do, I feel so unprepared and I feel like there's a million steps to completing this trick. Hopefully, it's easier than it seems.
While practicing the rollover, I could feel myself getting closer with each try. It's one of those tricks where you can tell you're almost there.
But then, that one small mistake that messes you up every time, for me, it was a thumb flick. I'd get the rotation started, but the moment it came to catch the handle, I'd either miss it completely or the knife would slip out of my hands, forcing me to start over again.
I had a clear idea of how this trick is supposed to work, but when my hands started going, it was a complete mess. My fingers had a mind of their own, and it wasn't anything like I had imagined. But even with all my struggles, I had to be persistent and continue to push through, repeating the trick for several hours until I saw my movements getting better. Let's go, finally! Got it over with.
I was tired of doing the same trick over and over again, but I just couldn't stop. I continued to try with only one goal in my mind, and that was completing all of these tricks and claiming the title of Balisong Ninja.
Yes, finally! I can move on!
So as I had to go to the basics once again, these were the steps for this trick. I will need to incorporate the rollover, chaplains, and of course behind the 8 ball.
Now, I have an issue. I wasn't planning on learning the chaplain. Now, I'm forced to learn it on the go, so wish me luck.
My final trick goes like this. I start with my index finger between both of the handles, passing the blade underneath my wrist, then touching the tip of my index finger to the tip of my thumb. Then I have to do a thumb rollover. Now, that sounds complicated. If I thought the full twirl was hard, I'm not ready for what this trick has in store for me.
As I watched the tutorial over and over again, I thought, this doesn't look that hard. I got this. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. So wrong. Turns out, keeping the balisong under control is like trying to hold onto a live fish. Slippery, unpredictable, and frustrating. I had to practice on my bed, just in case it flew out of my hands. I'd rather not have something break on me.
Meanwhile, I started practicing the helix, and yeah, I wasn't feeling too confident either. The fast movements were awesome, but way harder than the pros make it seem. My biggest problem is the thumb rollover. I couldn't get the timing right, and every time I tried, the knife would slip out of my hands like butter. I'm surprised I didn't break something.
But after hours of practice and endless repetition, something started to click.
I wasn't just fumbling the balisong as much anymore, and I was starting to get the hang of it.
For me, after what felt like 1,000 failed attempts, the helix finally started to make sense. It wasn't perfect, but I could feel my hands finally getting used to the movement.
So after a ton of effort, I did it. Come on, let's go. Both of us finally managed to complete our tricks.
Now onto our next challenge. We're judging how things are going. It's going to take even more effort and a little less sanity. But before then, go watch a previous video here.